guys, today I'm going to work on bows and a little practice sheet on those too, so that I'm going to pull it over so you can see here's a worksheet that I want you to just kind of screenshot, if you can screenshot that and practice on it. And that's going to help you with some of the ribbons that I'm showing you today. Okay. And so to get started here, there's a couple of strokes that are important for you guys to learn. And the first thing I want to do is do it using my paint. This has been in here with from a few days back, and it had the lid on it and a wet sponge. And so it's as fresh as can be. And it's a week now. Some people say they've gone 30 days with it. I'm taking my script liner. I'm using my value. This is my value pack of brushes, and there's 10 brushes. I have 2 scruffies, 2 liners, this one and this one. And I have all these flat brushes that are 6 other ones are flat brushes. And I have, so if you see it, it's a new package with a rose on it. That's my new logo. And so these are my most used brushes. I do have fan brushes and other brushes that are not in there, like a 16, but these are great ones to get started with. And with as far as this liner, the liner is the only one I use water with in that pack. Okay. And so I have inky Violet Pansy, and I stroke through the wicker white, and we use floating medium when we need it. And these are all multi-surface paints. Okay. And that's Folk Art multi-surface. So it has a sealer in it. It's great. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that before we get started. So I'm going to make a string bow, and you don't push this brush. You loop it out and you drag it back up. All right. So if I come across this again, or I'm going across there and getting a little bit of white, you loop it down and you pull it back up. We're not pushing it. Okay. So what I want you to see, I'm going to move this little guy out of the way. Thank you for being on today. I'm excited to share another way for you to be better at your one-stroke painting. Okay, so now you can loop this down, and you can come back down this way. All right, so I'm going to show you that I usually, though, make this one nice stroke. All right, so I'm going to stroke down here and pull it right back up. Okay, I want to be in front of you. I'm going to try to do that again over there. Then I'm going to have a loop here. So you touch here, and I have both colors on the brush. And then I'm going to come across here. Let's get some more paint right here, and I tie a knot. And you could add some white to that. Okay. Now, so what I want to share with you, I don't want medium. That was dumb. Excuse me. I want water to make it inky. And I streak through white. The white's thick. This is your first practice. You practice that. And you practice that again. Okay. Let's clean that up. Okay. And then I'm going to come right here and pick up some more and come right here. Okay, so if you just practice that and do that a few times, and then go and do the double loop, all right, that'll help you. So what all this does is, by going like this, and maybe you can put a highlight here and there, okay, is it gives you some light instead of just being a solid color. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's take a 10 instead of a 12. Let's take a 10 flat, and let's go and practice some more of this practice sheet. Okay. Now, so what I want to share with you, I'm going to get medium first. And usually I have the 2 colors next to each other. So white and magenta, and then work it in, dip white and magenta, and work it in. Okay. All right, so I already put a little bit of medium because we're on dry paper, okay? So this is what I want you to see. This is practice sheets that I'd like you to work on. You're gonna chisel and then go flat. Chisel and flat. Chisel and flat. Now what I want you to try doing is not come up, but just go down. So your pressure, release, and chisel. All right. So that's the first stroke you're going to practice. All right. Then I want you to practice doing curves flat. And some of these, you're keeping that flat all the way down. Okay. Now, this is where it gets kind of fancy, and it's important that you practice these two first, because what's going to happen now, so we're going to watch this as this happens. I'm going to get a little bit of medium to work in, okay? So if I lead with the white, I'm going to do pressure, chisel, lay it up the other way, pressure, chisel, pressure, chisel. Now watch, my thumb and my finger are holding it, and I'm not twisting the brush. I'm not moving this handle. So watch this handle as I come down. I'm gonna go back over this, chisel, chisel back, chisel back, chisel back, and there we go. So I want you to go back and practice on top of that without lifting the brush. And there's where you chisel. See this chisel, 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 all the way. Okay, so practice. So screenshot that with more of those strokes on there. All right. And then what we're going to do is go back here now. So I'm going to come back in here, pick up the white with the magenta. Okay, a little bit of white, a little bit of magenta. All right. Now what we want to do is we're going to come here. I want to show you something. If I lead with the white, I'm going to chisel flat, come up and chisel up to here. All right. So now this time I'm going to lead with the magenta, flat, chisel, and then lay the other way. All right. So what happens here, you can just pick up more paint and clean it up. Same thing here. I can turn the brush the other way. Oops, I'm going to do it again with the white and then chisel. Okay. Now I'm going to come back and watch what happens. Let's do this again. So I think what looked good is we are going to do some medium, work that in. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to take the pink, pressure, which is magenta, and wicker white, and I led with that. I'm going to lead with the pink again here with the magenta, pressure, chisel, lay it down, and chisel. Okay. Now I'm going to pick up more white and come back in here. All right. So I can chisel with the white first. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So see, I ran out of paint there, and I can come right back in there and clean it up. All right. So then what I want to do on here is make a C right here to tie the knot. And we're going to make a C right here. And it ties the knot up for you. All right. Now, I do want to show you, for instance, if I have this pure orange, I can have some yellow and orange and work that in together with some medium. The orange and yellow are more transparent, so I just want to show you that I chisel. See my little fingers holding me up? I had this little gentleman tell me he was a violinist. He was actually a composer. And he said, you would be a magnificent violinist. And that's how that feels when you're doing the ribbon. Very smooth and detailed. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. And I did use citrus here, but I'm trying to pick another color that would be nice, maybe cobalt. Okay, with some blue, sky blue, medium. Okay, so this is the key. All right. Now, see, having those two colors makes a difference, but you can also come in here. All right, and these our mats are online all the for practicing mats. And they also are great because they're all true. That gray gives you true color. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this off and I'm going to pull the blue in. All that's still wet. And let's pull a little bit of blue in here. A little bit of blue in here. So you get a little bit of that shading. Okay. And one other little thing that's kind of fun is I can take just cobalt with inky. I'm going to roll it till you just get the fine tip, and you can take and steady your finger here, come around. And you don't want to use a marker, a paint pen or a marker, because we can get heavy and light, just like I've been teaching you. Heavy, light, heavy, light. And so if you were doing this, you could pressure and then stand up, you're going to get a different look than a marker because you're going to get pressure release, pressure release. So think about that when you're doing your outlining. Okay. Just a little bit of technique to show you there, which is kind of fun. All right. And I can go back in. Let's make it really thin. You could even use medium and just do a few glares in here. All right, dry it off. Okay, so I can get a little bit of this orange and come back this way. And so kind of what's happening is if you go like this, we are just taking it like a zigzag in there to get you color. All right, so it just gives you a glow. So we're going to come in here. So we're going to come in here with a little bit of white and just blend this in. Okay. All right, so just a little bit of highlight, but you can get this highlight and be happy too. So I just want you to work on making those ribbons, realizing that I can come right in here and come right on top of this. Need a bigger brush. Cobalt and white. Okay, so chisel, flat, chisel. Okay, I just messed this up totally, so let me do it over. I'm gonna come here and fold. Fold. All right. Now I want to start. There we go. There we go. There we go. And we're done. And instead of trying to, this is what most people do, and then they switch it over and they do this, and then they switch it over and they do this. And it's so much easier to just keep going and practice that. Okay. So I hope you like that. Get some practice in there and have fun while you're doing it. Any new thing you learn really helps. So think about that as you're getting these looks that we want to get in here. Give you a little shine and create some great looks. And by educating yourself, you will be happier and happier with your work. Okay. So we do this a lot when we're doing oils to get those highlights. Okay, thank you very much. And please share your work and your practice with us on our Facebook group. We would love, it's Donna Dewberry's with an S official one stroke group. So please come and share your one stroke with us and you're practicing. And there's a lot of wonderful people there to inspire you. All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.